I'm recording this in late August 2018. The Fujifilm part of the internet is swirling with rumors and excitement about the upcoming X-T3, which is going to be the best camera ever that everybody needs to get. And I remember this very well from when it was time to upgrade from the X-T1 to the X-T2, which I did because of the X-T2's video capabilities. So when I started getting more video work, it was a no-brainer. I wanted to use my lenses that I had already accumulated by that point, so I wanted to stay with Fuji, but the X-T1 is not a camera you want to use for video. So I did something pretty crazy in this particular moment in time. The X-T2 came down in price. I went out and bought an X-T20. Why? So I haven't looked at the prices for the bodies, but with the 18 to 55 kit lens, the price difference between the X-T20 and the X-T2 is now a mere 300 bucks. So why would anybody go out in August of 2018 and buy an X-T20? Well, here's what happened. My son came to visit me from Switzerland, and he is into photography now, which is great. So I wanted to give him something really nice to get started seriously on that track, and I decided to give him my beloved X-T1. I told him to try out a few of the lenses that I had laying around, and my heart sank when I realized that he was going for the 18 to 55. I was still using that lens all the time, unlike the X-T1 body, especially for video. It's so great for video. It's got OIS. It's small, it's got exactly the right zoom rate that you need for most applications. In interviews and stuff, it was easy to set up, it was easy to carry around. I had to let it go because he liked it and I wanted to be a good dad. So now I was thinking, I need to replace that thing. It costs 700 bucks new. I wasn't ready to spend that kind of money on that lens, even though I like it. I took a long hard look at the 16 to 55 millimeter constant aperture Fujifilm lens, which is 1200 bucks, and it's a monster. I mean, I'm assuming in terms of quality, from what I've heard and seen and read, but also in terms of weight, size, and price. So I figured, the 18 to 55 is a kit lens. I'm gonna get a kit. I'm gonna get a kit. The X-T2 kit, okay, I'd have two X-T2 bodies after that, would have been 1500 bucks. I wasn't excited about that idea because the X-T2 is great, don't get me wrong, but it's already bigger than the X-T1. It's not, to me, like I'm a little spoiled with my Ricoh GR2. It's not exactly a camera you just grab to walk out, especially not with the battery grip that of course you need to get if you want to do video, and that lives under my X-T2 all the time now. So I was like, and then it dawned on me I'd always been interested in the X-T20, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm so happy because this camera is great. This camera is great, and here's why. Size. As you can see, I put on the 27mm pancake lens, which is my go-to street lens. And with this, it's pocketable. Its pocketability is almost as good as the Ricoh. The most exciting feature to me is the fact that you can use the screen to shoot, not just to focus, but to shoot. I remember very well when I looked at the X-T2 at the store first, the guy was kind of nudging me towards the X-T2 and away from the X-T20, which I was still considering. And, you know, the video arguments won out that debate. But I remember him saying, you know, it's got a touch screen. It's like a phone. That's not a serious camera. And I'm like, huh, I don't know. I kind of like that idea that you could flip up the screen, focus, and shoot with just one touch of the screen. Most of the people you would shoot wouldn't even realize that you're taking a photo. Isn't that great? And it is. So that's really the strongest pro argument in terms of everyday use. I was also eyeing the XE3, which I like better in terms of looks. It looks like a rangefinder camera, but unfortunately it has a screen that doesn't flip up. So that would negate a lot of those advantages I just described. One of the big arguments pro XE3 for me, being kind of a purist, is it doesn't have this. I mean, this is a joke. This was the last time this came up. Okay. Anyway. Now, as the lenses get bigger, the X-T20 gets a little weirder looking, like when I put my 90mm on it, or my, what is it, 50 to 230 tele zoom, which I practically never use anyway. You know, it's becoming a case of, you know, slightly ridiculous proportions, but who cares? I mean, this lens is going to live on this camera for most of the time. If not this lens, I'm going to go out with the, where is it, 35 f2, which is one of the, I think one of the 3 best Fuji lenses ever, along with the 56 and the 16. I'm going to have a nifty little camera for B-roll. This is another fantastic reason to get this one, because it'll work much better on my crane. There will be much less of a problem. I mean, try stabilizing the X-T2 with the battery grip on a gimbal, or even without, you know. So it works, but this just makes total sense, and it's just amazing. There is a psychological aspect that's difficult to explain, but it's like you can't believe, coming from the X-T2 and appreciating all its features, that you have all of this awesome power in this tiny package. You can't believe the photos that are coming out of this camera. And you know, I mean, the video clips are shorter, I think, without the battery grip, which of course it doesn't have. The clip length is limited to just under 10 minutes, I believe. But hey, B-roll. Who shoots, you know, 30-minute B-roll clips? So it's a win-win-win-win-win. And then when the X-T3 comes out, I'm going back to suffering and being sad, and I have at least 5 days of joy until that happens. So let me have that, please. Okay? All right. Enjoy. If the body of the X-T20 feels too tiny in your hand, I recommend this inexpensive metal handle that you can get online that makes it a little taller and adds some heft to the camera grip on the right side. This makes it very comfortable to operate the camera single-handedly. It also has an L bracket on the left side that I took off because I hardly ever use that, but that can be convenient. Both the bottom and the L bracket are in the Arca Swiss format that makes it easy to attach the camera to tripods that are equipped with that system. I also highly recommend this thumb grip. I've used those on all my Fuji cameras. They just slide into the hot shoe and really help stabilize the camera in your hand, particularly in combination with that other grip that I just mentioned. Unfortunately, these are not inexpensive. They cost almost $60, but in my experience, cheaper ones usually are not well enough machined to really slide into the hot shoe easily and stay in there firmly. So it's an investment well worth making, in my opinion. Obviously, you won't be able to use your hot shoe for a flash when you use those, but I rarely, if ever, put a flash up there anyway, so for me that's no big loss. I really like to take pictures on the touchscreen. It's an amazing feature that I wish I had on all my cameras. There's only one drawback I can think of, and that's the fact that I also like to flip the screen up so I can shoot from the hip and use the touchscreen. When you do that, your finger unfortunately triggers the eye sensor. If you have that eye sensor activated, meaning your camera switches from LCD screen to viewfinder when you lift it to your eye, well, unfortunately your camera can't tell the difference between your eye and your finger, and it will turn off the screen as you try to take your shot. That's very inconvenient. Luckily, the view mode switch is intelligently placed right to the right of your viewfinder, and it's just a button that you push in as many times as necessary. This is a much better solution than on the X-T2, where you have to push a button on the side of the viewfinder. Also, I prefer the diopter on the X-T20, which is to the left of the viewfinder, and it's a vertical scroll wheel. That to me is much more convenient to set the viewfinder to your personal eye prescription or situation, whatever it may be, than on the X-T2, where you have a wheel on the left of that, you know, fake mirror dome. On the day I finished editing this video, B&H announced that the Fujifilm 18 to 55mm f2.8 lens is going on sale for $599.